Hey, what's up? It's Tuesday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com podcast Heat, and I'm also of Studio One Sports. But I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplis, WB Creative _ish. Robert, happy Tuesday to you, man. A little bit of stuff to talk about when it comes to Raw, but not a lot, I don't think. What do you think?
I mean, there's some. I don't know what a little bit versus a lot is. I think it was a Monday Night Raw that took place at 2:00 in the afternoon, and when you consider how significant SmackDown was just a few days prior, there really wasn't going to be a lot of fair comparisons to what we were going to see on Monday Night Raw based on the I guess the card that we saw we were getting. There wasn't going to be a major title change. There wasn't going to be a big revelatory moment. It is clear that they are booking very home crowd related as it stems for the European audience. On SmackDown on Friday, it was a matter of, hey, we're giving you a title change. Raw with Gunther, he's somewhat a hometown guy. I know he's Austrian, and this was in Dusseldorf, which is just fun to say. And then we're going to see Drew. It was in Glasgow with the world title, and then next week in Ireland with Finn Balor. Under WWE rules, anybody from the United Kingdom, every place is their hometown.
That's it, right? You just fully embrace it, and WWE is not shying away from that, certainly. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat here. Cami Starr, who was with us earlier, says, after morning, guys, I'm in the dentist chair, so I'll have to watch later. But is it me, or is International Raw extra talky? Lots of talking going on, Robert, on Raw.
I don't know that I necessarily found it to be more talky than normal. But I also think that in part, it's odd because you feel like the international audience is not necessarily going to understand chapter and verse every letter of what everybody is saying. Kevin Kellum, who always just brings the most high intellectual, too talky, more fights. The fact that he wrote too talky and not more fighty is very upsetting.
Kev, you're a comedian. Come
there
on.
It is. He wrote too talky. He updated it. He changed it. He got there. Kevin Kellum's comedy special should be coming out sooner rather than later. We recorded that the tail end of last year. I'm looking forward to seeing that, assuming that the city of Chicago is still standing. If they, because I don't know that they can survive another round of wins in the NFL playoffs before they're just going to reburn that whole place to the ground. Sorry to the Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Oh yeah, bummer for them. That's for sure.
Boy, they get steamrolled. But what's crazy is, and maybe this is the way my wrestling brain works, and I can't help it. When I see the Houston Texans logo, the very first thing that I think of is 25 years ago at WrestleMania 17, someone had the Houston Texans sign because they had just unveiled their logo.
Wow. Right.
Again, it's just how my brain sometimes operates. It's anything that ties it to wrestling, which goes back to that road trip thing of trying to teach him philosophy.
Right.
It's how our brains work, guys. I think it's time we just we accept it and move on. Kevin Kellum says Aaron Rodgers got the John Cena versus Brock Lesnar SummerSlam 2014 treatment. No, because John Cena still kept going. This may be the end for Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Could be. It very much could be. Pick six to end it too. What a wild way to end
it. Pick six to end it when you're losing 413 to 6. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
Dre Owen says showing up late like Hogan. Let's hope that's the only comparison we have to make.
Unless you got a Miller Lite in the garbage can or whatever it may be.
And it is somewhat fitting because Scott Adams passed away today. Dilbert creator.
Wow, did he?
Who was another person who was beloved in the 90s and then ultimately got canceled for making racially insensitive comments.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. His definitely he was an online. He was vocally online. That's for sure.
Wrestling Old Head asks, was this Aaron Rodgers tap out with the smile game? No, the goofy smile that Aaron Rodgers has is a product of 700 concussions. He does not know where he is at any given point in time. Trey Owens assures us, though, that he drinks good beer.
Okay, there we go.
You're not a beer guy, are you, Dom?
I like beer, yeah, but like as I get older, I get tired after I drink beer, so I don't drink it as much as I used to. I'm more of a whiskey guy. I like whiskey. I like a little bit of vodka. Cranberry vodka was my go-to in college. So
clears up those UTIs. I'm glad that
That's it.
worked for you. Wait, what whiskey are you going with?
I like, if I have my choice, I like Jameson, but I do the wild turkey. I have Bird Dog in my freezer right now. So
I don't even know what the hell Bird Dog whiskey is. It's like a step above
moonshine? It's a higher version of Evan Williams that they make, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay. And Evan Williams is not that.
Look, I'm typically a Scotch guy, but I've been doing a lot of the old fashions of late. So it's been a lot of Angel's Envy or Eagle Rare.
Ooh, okay, I like it. Did we like Raw, Robert?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a wrestling podcast, not a spirits related show. It's crazy. Like, I'm having to look back. It's like, did I even watch Raw? I absolutely did. I have copious notes, but a lot of it went somewhat in one ear and out the other, simply because a lot of what we sort of predicted wound up being the episode of Raw. They were focusing early on in the women's tag division, and we said, Rhea and Io in that spot really feels like a misuse of resources as we're getting into Royal Rumble season, where you had the Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer segment. That feels like a women's intercontinental title level storyline right now. I think Stephanie Vaquer is fantastic in the ring. She hasn't been truly established as a main event star. Raquel Rodriguez, that Michael Cole promo with her, it was like he forgot she was not supposed to be a babyface. Or that he's like, and I remember seeing you in NXT and I knew someday you were going to be world champion. Crowd cheers. But now you're a bad guy. And I was like, wait, what the hell is this?
Maybe they're going the full Diesel route where he beats Stephanie Vaquer in 8 seconds.
I hope they don't give her the Bob Backlund treatment. But, you bring out Roxanne and Liv, where I thought Liv was going after the women's title. That's beside the point. Roxanne and Liv, Bayley and Lyra, and the Kabuki Warriors to set up that women's triple threat, which from a pacing standpoint, I thought it was immediately going to go from this segment to that match. There was a lot of stuff that happened in between.
Yeah. I think the show itself too, I don't know. It just felt part of the course for me. Like, I know we talked about how big SmackDown was, obviously, considering what happened. But I mean, like, when it comes to, I thought they might have mixed it up a little bit and got some excitement going, and maybe a little bit of it. And I think in a way they did. But ultimately, like, this felt like kind of like, okay, we're getting through the European tour now. We gave you a little bit of surprise to start things off.
So looking at what else kind of occurred, the Javon Evans debut versus Bravo, who was obviously looks suspiciously like Tyler Bate. Solid way to debut Javon Evans. I think him working with the Los Grande Americanos is a smart decision. Javon Evans in there with Tyler Bate, in there with Pete Dunne, in there with Ludwig Kaiser. 3 very talented heels who are only going to make him better. And when he brings in some reinforcements, which feels like we're marrying him to that group of guys who don't have anything else going on, the Raw version of the conglomeration with Penta and Dragon Lee, it's only going to elevate Javon Evans that much more. And it's a very good introductory feud for him. The Punk promo, the way they placed it, it kind of felt like, well, we were establishing Braun Breaker wasn't there.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So Punk could go out and safely cut a promo. And then the idea of, I'm a fighting champion. We got Rumble. We got Elimination Chamber. I'm not going to let what happened to Cody sway me, which I like. I like the idea of he's the workhorse champ. He's going to go out there. He's going to fight whoever he wants to fight. And then when Finn Balor came out, there was that momentary pause of, wait, what? Which I
I
don't
liked
mind.
it, Robert.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think because we've been teasing about maybe the aspect of Finn turning face or them doing something big with Finn as we head towards maybe WrestleMania and see like, and this kind of felt like that they were kind of planting some seeds for it, I think, a little bit.
Well, I think that part of it was the idea that he is being somewhat manipulated by Liv Morgan. You know, Judgment Day is very much plagued by injury. JD McDonough on the shelf, Dominic Mysterio on the shelf. When I was trying to figure out the best use of Finn Balor prior to Raw, I was looking at the roster and I'm going, if you put Finn Balor with an NXT guy, calling up someone from NXT, and they go after the tag titles, because Finn Balor worked Jey Uso at some house
Mhm.
shows of late, and it was a very, very fun series of matches. Finn, I know people are saying like Eric Tate 5135 says, I still miss Babyface Finn. Babyface Finn is good. Heel Finn has more longevity to it. There is a weaselly nature to him that he taps into beautifully. So him versus Punk is going to be a hell of a match next week. I think it was they're looking at it and going, where are you going to get the best wrestling match out of CM Punk on an international tour? It's put him in there with Finn Balor. The way they got to it, which was, well, you said my name. Okay, well, I said a lot of people's names. Yeah, but well, you said my name. I mean, there's been dumber reasons people have wrestled. We've seen people wrestle because of shampoo. So I'm fine with it. The idea that Finn is going to potentially get cheered. I know the name of this episode, yeah, was Finn Balor finally a face. Nah, they're going to boo the hell out of Finn Balor.
You think? Yeah, I guess. I don't know though. It will be interesting. It'll be interesting. I am more for a babyface turn, a full babyface turn for Finn Balor because yeah, he's such a great heel. We've seen him be that great heel for years now. I think I think there's still some desire to see maybe the return of the Demon and that kind of aspect of it all. And I think it's almost the right moment to do it in a lot of ways.
Well, then
Because
let's play this game, Dom.
okay, let's play it.
Let's play the feud.
Mhm.
Finn goaded out there because of Liv Morgan kind of prodding him.
Yeah.
He fails against CM Punk.
Mhm.
He's downtrodden. He's angry. Dom starts talking some smack with Liv. Boy, this guy, you're kind of a loser. Thought you were the leader of this group. Clearly, it's Liv. We get to the Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania.
I love it. Let's make it happen. I'm all right. I love that game, Robert.
Contrary to significant popular belief, I am not directly booking Monday Night Raw. But if I did, I don't know that I necessarily would have been like, hey, let's bring back Otis and Tozawa as a threat. But good for them. You know what? It's you see some of these guys getting used. Am I excited about Otis and Tozawa versus the Usos? Not really, but it's ensuring these guys are going to continue to have work.
For sure. And like, I mean, if you're just trying to, again, part of the course with some of your talents when it comes to, hey, what do we do with the Usos? Let's put the tag titles on them. Well, they're still a hot act and they still do the yeet and get over. Pair them up with another team that's over and just have some fun with it, I guess. I think it's fine.
Wrestling Old Head says Otis and Tozawa are now the babes? ? Clearly, you don't watch Collision. I don't know. That's usually Scott's answer whenever I'm seeing dumb crap that I don't know what the hell it is. Like, oh, clearly you don't watch. I clearly don't watch Collision. I did watch Bronson Reed and Austin Theory team up against Dragon Lee and Penta. I guess they finally just sort of settled in the notion that Austin Theory is going to be sort of the weakest of the four.
Which is, I mean, I get it because like from a visual perspective and persona perspective, he is, but you return him in this way that he's supposed to feel like this big deal. Why aren't you trying to build him up?
Well, I feel like, and I'm saying I feel like a lot. The notion is they looked at the board and they said, okay, we have the tag titles on the Usos for reasons. Mainly, there's a lot of guys that we have on the roster who we're trying to make seem like some form of a big deal. There's only so many spots at the top, and there's certain guys who just aren't able to occupy it. So LA Knight,
Yeah.
Drew, I think getting this title run is in part because they want to make him feel like he's a big time main event talent. You're trying to put Braun Breaker into a position where he's a big main event kind of talent. Jey Uso, there's no room at the top for Jey Uso. There's no room at the top for Gunther. So it's let's give Gunther AJ Styles. Let's give Jey Uso the tag titles. And there's not a tag team that's set up for him. All due respect to Otis and Tozawa. All due respect to the War Raiders or the Creed Brothers or the New Day.
Well, who are they? The New Day?
Apparently, people on the show. I think they're with Grayson Waller. They live in the commercial breaks. That's probably where the Babes thing came from. If you're watching the international feed, but with the vision, you have to make that pivot to these guys are going after all the gold. So if you have Logan Paul going after the Intercontinental title at some point, which him and Dom against each other just feels kind of fun, and Braun Breaker's the guy going after the world title, you need a tag team. And Theory and Bronson Reed work well as a tag team. Visually, it's Laurel and Hardy. In terms of complementary skills, you've got Austin Theory, who's going to be able to carry a lot of the match and sell. And then when you get that hot tag, and here comes Bronson Reed as the boulder from Indiana Jones, it works well. Those guys going after the Usos feels like a pretty main event style match. Like, you can main event an episode of Raw with that. You can
absolutely
put that on a Saturday night's main event. So this felt like a litmus test of this combination of these two. What are they going to do? And Dragon Lee and Penta are not a long-term tag team. Dragon Lee is a man without a country in a lot of ways. They billed him as the next Rey Mysterio, and then they went and signed Rey Fenix. And they went and signed Penta. You got Bandito over on AEW just eating this guy's lunch. So Axiom over on SmackDown, but so Dragon Lee and AJ was a fine little placeholder. It wasn't long term, but if they wanted Penta in a long term tag team, I got a Lucha Bro you can put him with.
Yes, indeed.
So Trey Owens earned his ban, by the way, by saying Theory and Reed equals Mark Davis and Rocky Romero. How dare you, sir? Did you forget that they signed Jake something?
Jake Doyle. I almost forgot. Jake Doyle.
By the way, this is what's amazing about the world of professional wrestling. While recording the show, getting a phone call from Lloyd Anawai.
Oh, my goodness.
Afa's son. Dude, I don't know.
Want to take it? Take it.
I am not. No, I'm sure he's got questions for me that on BRCW related matters, because you can't run a wrestling show without Samoans. And
maybe he wants to know about Austin Theory, though.
Maybe he does. What I want to know is, what did you think of the Braun Breaker confrontation with Adam Pearce?
Look, I mean, it's a way to continue to build Braun's hot-headedness. I think that's, you kind of keeping that identity and persona going, and then you get him on television for a little bit, which I do think makes sense, maybe, considering, he lost to CM Punk, and you want to maybe the absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of vibe to it also. I guess I'm okay with it, but it also just feels paint by numbers in certain ways too at the same time. What do you think?
There was a little bit of the vibe of the police chief throwing out Serpico.
Yeah.
But I liked the twist on it more than I liked the execution, because you had Braun Breaker come out and start attacking guys in the tag match when he wasn't supposed to be there, and Paul Heyman swore he wasn't going to get involved. And then the idea that Adam Pearce suspends him, and Heyman's like, glad you did that, because you put your hands on him first. Therefore, it was retaliation, and now they're going to go after Pearce in theory. What I'm a little confused about, though, is if you're going down this path, you better have a great replacement for Adam Pearce. And I don't think there's a great replacement for Adam Pearce. I think he has really been solid as the wallpaper in the background. You don't really think about him. He goes out there, he makes his announcements, he says he wants to drink, and then you move on.
Yeah, I think, though, I mean, maybe it'll depend on what they do. Do they put like a legacy name as like the figurehead for that? What if this is a way to bring in Jericho? Like
Oh
as
God, no, no, no,
to
no,
that
no, no.
effect.
I would not want to give Jericho that much mic time. Um, it's
That's
funny
where you put him in, though, right?
when
That's
we
where
were
you.
when we were pitching about going into the first Netflix Raw of the year. My gut instinct was coming out of it with Punk not being champ that it was going to be him mixing it up with Adam Pearce in some form or fashion and getting thrown out.
Yeah,
And I guess somewhere in the wires they mixed it up and they flipped it. Dre Owens just really wants a permanent ban. Suggested Eric Bischoff.
I'd be all right with that.
When I talked the last time I saw Bischoff, I told him he was one of my favorite people to work with when I was producing because
Mhm.
you just gave him a couple bullet points. He was good, always knocked it out of the park. And he goes, that's the best compliment you give me because that's all I ever wanted to do in that role.
Yeah.
He was very good as the commissioner or as the GM of Raw. On SmackDown, we had Teddy Long, whom I love. Bullet points weren't getting it done for old Teddy.
Well, look, if you put Bischoff in there, think of some of the fun dynamic that you could have him, Heyman, him and Punk. There's some good elements that you could really have him kind of like have a lot of fun with and make it be different than SmackDown because Aldis is great in the role as the GM too, and I agree with you too. Adam Pearce is good at what he does too, but it's the same vibe basically going on from each show. So if you'll get a different kind of flavor going on when Raw. If you get a personality like a Bischoff or even a Jericho,
Here's why you don't need a Bischoff on Raw. As much as I enjoy Bischoff in that position, when your main storyline and the main storyline on Raw is absolutely the vision, when your main storyline features a dynamic heel manager, you don't want a heel GM. You don't want a babyface Eric Bischoff, by the way. Babyface Eric Bischoff is more unlikable than heel Eric Bischoff. So you absolutely don't want that. And if they're in collusion, it also takes away any dramatic tension you might have. So Adam Pearce being the put upon middle management version of a GM works perfectly for the Heyman of it all and for Punk and whoever else they need in those capacities. Nick Aldis has a little bit more authority on the SmackDown side, and you have a steadier hand with it. And I think that's why all that works. What did not work for me,
Hmm.
the main event of Raw.
I was curious, Robert. I mean, I think there's some things that I did like, but if you take a step back and look at it from a grand scale or long term, are you really adding value to somebody like Gunther, who you should be adding value to? But let me get your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I think it's a matter of I don't like this iteration of Gunther.
I agree.
You know, the idea that he's the guy who retired Bill Goldberg. He's the guy who retired John Cena. He is a former world champion who would still be world champion, but for basically slipping on a banana peel with Punk and then not really getting his rightful rematch because of Seth Rollins cashing in immediately. That guy should be a killer.
I agree.
And he's coming out there in the silk robes looking like a slightly thinner Viscera. He's goofy. He keeps giggling about saying the word bitch. It doesn't work. Let him just murder dudes. He should have just gone out there and AJ's fighting back and fighting back and fighting back, and Gunther puts him down.
Yeah. Well, Robert, you know who he's like? He's like Belosh in Seinfeld, where he's getting the tennis, and now he's feeling the swagger of it all. And
2 years in, Dom's talking my language.
Right?
Another point for Milosh.
That's what he is.
There is just this odd goofiness to this guy who. Sorry, I got interrupted mid sentence because Dre Owens, not a daily ban, weekly ban, a century long ban for suggesting that Stephanie McMahon be the new general manager of Raw.
Dre.
How dare you put that into the ecosystem, into the ethos? Is there not enough discord and anger and hate in the world that you would want to put Stephanie McMahon on my television every single week? Warner Breeze hits it out of the park by saying, is Gunther the Austrian version of Okada? Yes.
Yeah.
It's this oddly goofy iteration of a guy who should be an absolute murdering killer. And in 2026, you really have the ability to do the guy who retired Goldberg and the guy who retired John Cena, retiring AJ Styles, wiping Chris Jericho off the face of the earth, beating CM Punk for the world title, and beating Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, and like, look, I was all about the follow through. Like, if you're having John Cena lose to Gunther, how are you gonna reciprocate that moving forward and making him feel like that Brock Lesnar after Brock beat Undertaker? So, what are you doing with it? And so far, they have not delivered on this new version, this Milos Gunther going on. So,
Don't quite understand it. Winning with the low blow. That's not a guy where now I'm going, oh man, he's an unstoppable monster. It's like on paper, yeah, these wins seem really impactful. If I just read the results and you go, the guy who beat Goldberg, the guy who beat John Cena, beat AJ Styles in the main event, okay, but to win in such a cheap, cowardly kind of manner, that's how Logan Paul beats AJ Styles. That's not how Gunther beats AJ Styles.
Right. And like the fact too that he's like willing to tap to AJ too. It's don't necessarily like that as a killer either, you know. Even though I like the AJ Styles promo earlier on in the night, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of how you build AJ and make this like disrespect to Cena." Kind of makes sense, even though it really doesn't, because Gunther beat him fair and square. But ultimately, no, they're not doing Gunther any favors here.
Don't quite understand it.
Yeah, Wrestling Old Head makes the great point. Gunther doesn't need to be that character. They have Dom for that. Exactly.
They got plenty of guys that can occupy that space. Gunther's not that sort of talent. It's odd that Hunter would even feel remotely comfortable booking him like that. But it sounds like their booking decisions across the board are a little up in the air at the moment, Mr. D'Angelo.
Yeah, that's correct. And reportedly, was some changes ahead for WrestleMania 42. Friend of the show, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, provided an update on how this affects the standings for the show of shows. He claimed that the officials made some big changes recently. They revamped the plans for Las Vegas pay-per-view this past Wednesday when they decided on the SmackDown title change. Meltzer noted that he could not provide solid details on the whole matter, but he suggested that the match between Cody and Roman Reigns is unlikely now. As for the direction for Rhodes in the title, he speculated that we could see a triple threat between Cody, Drew, and Jacob Fatu in the coming times. Hopefully not for WrestleMania, but yeah, I could see that. But Robert, we're all about rumor and innuendo. We're all about speculation. Meltzer dispels maybe the notion that you pitched that we're going to get Roman and Cody. What do you think about all that?
Roman and Cody seemed like the most logical match for them to do for WrestleMania. So the fact that they're changing it makes me think that either Roman is now not going to be available for WrestleMania, A, or B, that someone, The Rock, slipped in and decided that he wants to throw a change in plans in some form or fashion, or Roman came up with a different idea, because there's no reason, based on the fairly lazy booking that we've seen over the last several months, that they would deviate from Cody Roman 3. There's no hot match, no hot angle, no unseen combination of superstars that we're chomping at the bit for. This seems kind of odd. But there's also the possibility that this is one of them double bluff situations here, where they're putting this out there so that when they do come to Cody and Roman, we're all like, oh my God, we didn't think this was going to happen. WWE unreal. We all got worked. It's a swerve, bro. But it's not a swerve, Dom. Us being here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern, we are available on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative_ISH X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo, Podcast Heat, and ad-free shows. What an episode. What a way to, start the week. We're already in Tuesday. We're getting closer to Hump Day. So on behalf of the guy who's absolutely going to do the outdated Geico line, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm a caveman, or I'm a gecko. I don't know.